Welcome back to Structure Fishing. I'm Jim Shell. I've got more lost tapes for you. In this lost tapes, 2 years ago, I went with Brian Waldman of the Indianapolis area, and we went pre-spawn largemouth bass fishing. And Brian shows us in details what his approach is to find these fish in reservoirs. Great information here. I know you guys are going to enjoy it. And Brian also has a terrific website. It's called Big Bass Indiana, and he's got a section in there called Structure Cafe, where he has a lot of great information on the history of structure fishing, Buck Perry, and how it all started. I'll put the link down below. Check it out. He's got a great website there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.
Got one there?
Yep, another one on the jerkbait.
Well, that's a nicer one. A decent one.
Yep. So we got the rocks come out here into about 6 or 7 foot of water. And so I'm trying to throw parallel to the rocks and kind of keep it over that 6 or 7 foot depth. And then this is a suspending jerkbait, so you can just pause it and stop it, because in these cold front conditions, they're not going to be real active. We've had one slap it that we missed. This is only the second one we've caught on the jerkbait so far, but both of them hit it when you pause it and stop it, so speed control is going to have to be pretty slow. I'm guessing we're going to end up having to go to jigs and stuff like that and drop on them a little bit more. And that'll probably be how we catch most of our numbers, but I did want to check and see. You got to check all the speeds. So we might even be able to get a small crankbait bite going if we really tried, but I'm guessing jigs will be the ticket today, so we'll see. So got another one on. This might be a white bass. He's pulling differently. Oh, largemouth. Back trouble. Come here, guy. There you go. Another one on the jerkbait. All right, we've moved into a feeder creek arm here off the main lake. And so in the pre-spawn, a lot of times the bass, as they start moving into these coves to go ahead and prepare for spawning and stuff, they'll follow the creek channel in. And we've got, in this particular cove, 2 areas. An outside creek channel bend right here where we're sitting out in 12-13 foot of water within easy casting distance of shore, and then we got another area on the other side of the cove, same spot. So those fish will follow that channel in, and they'll be on those steep vertical banks, and you can under these cold front conditions, they sit down in that deep hole and just randomly and sporadically kind of move up when they feel like it and move back down. So it's slow fishing, but we'll fish that bank. We'll come on over here now, and we're going to fish this bank here. When the water warms up and you get better conditions, warmer, muggier conditions, they're going to start moving up onto these flats, and they'll start hanging around the docks, and these little cuts and pockets are where they're going to end up spawning at. But right now, under these cold front conditions, and especially early in the year when the water's cold, these deeper channel banks are going to be a lot of what we're fishing today. Not a big one, but here we go. Little guy, but you got to start somewhere. Caught him on the jig.
Looks like a nice one.
A little bit bigger. That one came on a small jig. Just really slowing down our speed control now under these tough conditions.
Another one off.
Got another one. Out here in about 10 feet of water. On the jig again, just fishing slow along the bottom.
Again, the shoreline section we're targeting is specifically because the channel swings in close?
Yes, exactly. So it's just a small secondary creek channel. We're the main channel, of course, out in the main body of the reservoir, but this is a feeder creek, and so the bass will move from the main creek channel out there in the main reservoir. Pre-spawn, they'll start following that little creek channel into these coves when they want to get ready for spawning and stuff, and so we're just kind of following that channel, and wherever that channel comes in and hits up close to the bank and creates that steep vertical situation like what you see in the green book, that's where we want to be fishing at. So
Nice. So you got that off of a break on the channel?
Yeah, so we had just been fishing the channel bank that swings out here. It actually comes out and wraps around this point before meeting up with the main creek. But on this side of the point, there's a drop right off the contact point. And if you go up about 50 yards, there's a big rock pile that sits right on that drop off. We're sitting out here, I'm in 21 foot of water, throwing up into about 9 foot. And that rock pile, of course, is a great break on that break line. And so we had caught quite a few this winter off of it. And I hadn't actually checked it out yet this spring, so while we were in the area, I thought I'd check it out and see, and sure enough, there's at least one sitting there, so. Small one, but first cast. So we just moved to another little pocket here. I was telling Jim, it's just a little shallow pocket. It's only 6-7 foot deep back there under the nice warmer weather conditions that we had earlier in the week. And as these fish start getting closer to spawning, they'll move back in there and hang around whatever they're going to hang around. But this little feeder cut comes out here and it just runs through here. We were sitting off just over 12 foot of water. I just moved back in here a little bit. But it's just the deepest little hole at the mouth of this little feeder pocket. And so when you get a cold front comes through, bad weather conditions, bad water conditions, they're all going to pull back out and just sit right in this little hole in 12 foot of water. It's the deepest water between this cove and the main channel, the little feeder channel that cuts out here, which has 20 some feet of water in it, deep enough for sanctuary depth. So it's just kind of moving along these little spots and just trying to figure out at what stage the bass are in, how far they've moved. And so in this case, like I say, this deepest spot right here on this corner, and so we're going to make a few casts and see if we can't catch a couple more fish. Another one on the jig. I was just sitting here talking to Jim. I wasn't even moving that jig. It was just literally sitting still on the bottom, and he came and sucked it off the bottom. I hadn't even moved it, and that gives you an idea with these blue skies. Second day after a front, and these fish just, they're biting, but they're just really slow. And that's a perfect example when you don't even move the jig and they suck it off the bottom, how slow you gotta fish sometimes. It's all about getting the right speed control though. So they're not all big, but it's better than not catching anything. Look how far down in its throat that one is. I have to get the pliers on that one. Swallowed it. There it goes. Got my trailer in there. Another bass though, we've moved into another creek arm, but it's the exact same story. You got the flat side over on this side, 3, 4, 5 feet of water. They're going to be over there spawning when the water warms up in 10 degrees or so. But we're fishing the little side that drops right off into this little feeder creek that runs in here. Anywhere from 6 to, as we get out here, we're going to be out in 12, 15 feet of water. And so those fish are just going to keep following that little feeder creek in with this front and everything. I think they're all pushed over to this deeper side, and so we're just going to take our time and fish all up and down this feeder creek bank. Switch taps on it. It's a lucky tap. On a little bitty tiny jig still. Really slow speed control. Cold water, cold front conditions. Follow the guidelines, you can still catch them. On the side. Swiped at it. The form guy. Jig and plastic on the steep channel banks. Fish. You can see the steep background in the back here. A little feeder cut comes out of here and meets up with the main channel. And just fishing this deep drop off here into 10-12 foot of water off the feeder cut, and the main channel over there 18-20 feet of water. Another one on the jig, slow speed control.